Welcome to Simple SQL. In today's episode, we're going to be using Power BI Desktop for the first time. If you need to install Power BI Desktop and don't know how, check out the previous video. If you've already got it installed and you've opened it up for the first time, you should be looking at a screen like this. The first thing we want to do is get data into Power BI Desktop so that we can start taking a look at it. We've got this banner here and we'll see one of the choices on it is Get Data. Go ahead and click on that, and you should see a dialog window like this appear. If we click over on the left-hand side on Database, we get SQL Server Database as our very top choice. Go ahead and click on that now, and then click Connect. Now you may remember from using SQL Server Management Studio that you have to put in a server name whenever you're connecting in there. And because we installed a local copy of SQL Server, for our server name we can just type localhost. And then our database name, you can look in Management Studio if you don't recall, but we're just going to put our learning database in here. So for me, that's just going to be Simple SQL. And then I'm going to click on OK. Now, if you remember back to when we installed our copy of SQL Server, we put it into mixed authentication mode, and we said to make our currently logged in user an administrator on it. I'm still using the same account, so I'm just going to say use my current credentials. However, if you need to use different credentials, you can click use alternate credentials and put in the appropriate username and password and click connect. Now this is telling me that it can't make an encrypted connection to the data source, and that's okay for what I'm doing, so I'm just going to click on OK. We're now presented with a navigator that shows us all of the data that we have inside the database we selected. So you can see up here it's showing me that we're on localhost, the local machine, and we're looking in the Simple SQL database. And what we can see here is all the different tables that we were learning with, as well as the views that we created. So I'm just going to click on this very first view here, the View Sales by Item, and I can see the preview over here. So it's giving me the item name, how many I sold, and the quantity, just like it was when I looked inside SQL Server Management Studio. Now I don't have an option to load this because you actually have to check the box. So clicking on the line item will preview it, but once you've checked the box or boxes for the different items that you want to import, that's when you get load. So I'm going to check the box, click on load, and now I can see that my view has come in over here and I've got a variety of fields available to me. So what it's telling me to do here is select or drag fields from the field pane onto the report canvas. So I'm going to grab my item name and just drag that right onto the report canvas and let go of it. And when I do that, what it did for me was it automatically created a table. So you can resize this and then drag it out here, and you can see that this table that it made for me, the properties of it are over here in the visualizations. And one of the things you've got here is the values. So if I wanted to see this and see all of the different columns I had, what I can do is I can take these values and just drag them in right here. There we go. And so now you can see that it's got the headers up here, all of the different items I have, and it's totaling those for me automatically. Now this is configurable. We can turn this off if we want. There's actually quite a bit of customization in here. So if we click on this little paint roller, that's our format, we can see there's a ton of choices here. The place that we want to look is under total, and if we didn't want to see that total, we could just turn that off. And now it doesn't do that for us anymore. We can turn that back on, same way. Okay, so what else can we do with this data? Well, you can see up here all of these different icons. And right now this is just a table. And it's hard to tell because it kind of fills in the box there. But this is the one that's selected. If we wanted to see this data displayed differently, we could do something like maybe a donut chart. And now this is kind of a mess, right? This isn't exactly how we'd want to see our data. But we can fix all of that with formatting. So the very first thing is with a donut chart, let's go ahead back over to our fields. And with the donut chart, we probably don't want to be trying to display both the quantity and the total. Instead, let's look at a chart of just our total value of items sold. So I'm going to go ahead and click the X on quantity to remove it. And now I'm just looking at these totals. This is still pretty hard to read, and with all of the items listed out like this, it's pretty hard, at least for me, to tell which of these things they go to. So instead of having it like that, let's go ahead back into our format and turn off the legend. Okay, we've got a little bit more real estate now, but now we can't tell what anything is at all. So if we go down to data labels, we can actually change what it's showing us there. So instead of the data value and percent of total, what we could do instead is say, how about the category and data value? Okay, that's looking a lot better. Let's make this a little bit bigger. All right, now it's easy to see that another new and popular item is our biggest seller, followed by an item people buy, and a core item in the shop here that's just kind of holding down the middle there. Now, it's possible that we don't want to see all of our lower sales items here. And if we wanted to cut this out and really only focus on our items that have the best performance in our shop, we've got this filter pane over here. You'll notice that it's got filters on this visual, filters on this page, and filters on all pages. And what I want to modify is filters on this visual to just affect this one donut chart here. So what I'll do is I'll take the category that I want to filter, which is my item name. I'm going to set it to top N filtering, which is the top number of things you want. I'm going to set mine to the top 8 items and by value of their total. There we go. And now I'm going to apply this filter. And you can see now I'm only showing my top 8 most sold items. And so this might be good to quickly assess which items in your store are doing the best. Obviously, we can actually change this around and go to the bottom 8. Apply that. So you can see which items are doing the worst in your store as well. Maybe I need to take a look at this fully custom item here and determine if it's really worth keeping it in my shop, or at this interesting item here to see if maybe I need to do something with my marketing to get it out there a little bit more. So this is just the very basics of getting connected and some of the things that you can do to visualize your data. We're going to go into more depth on all these topics, but I wanted to give you guys a preview of it. In the next episode, we're going to look at some of the bar chart types, see when we should use them, and dig in a little bit more on the customization. Thanks for joining me, and I'll talk to you later.